Block 1. Unveiling the Phantom Coach. Mind Control's Darkest Secret. Hello and welcome, brave explorers of the unknown. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a concept so chilling, so profoundly disturbing, that it exists only in the deepest, most classified shadows of military research. Forget what you know about drones, AI soldiers, or cyber warfare. We're venturing into the realm of the human mind itself. We're talking about a rumored technology known by a code name that sounds like a ghost story: the Phantom Coach. Imagine for a moment a battlefield of the near future. A special operations team moves with impossible precision, a silent, fluid unit acting as one. They don't speak. They don't use hand signals. Every movement, every decision, every single pull of a trigger is perfectly synchronized. But here's the terrifying twist. They aren't making those decisions. Their bodies, their very thoughts, are being controlled, puppeteered in real time by a single commander miles away, plugged into a command console. This isn't about simply issuing orders through a radio. This is direct neural puppetry, turning living, breathing soldiers into biological extensions of one person's will. The concept of the Phantom Coach, if the whispers are to be believed, represents the single greatest leap in military dominance, and the most profound ethical nightmare ever conceived. It's a weapon that targets not flesh and bone, but the very essence of human autonomy: free will. The alleged origins of such a program are, as you'd expect, murky and steeped in conspiracy. There are no official documents, no public acknowledgments. Instead, there are fragmented rumors, whispers from intelligence analysts who saw a data fragment they shouldn't have, or stories from engineers who worked on a project so compartmentalized they only understood a tiny, benign piece of a monstrous whole. These tales often point towards clandestine research divisions, the kind of black-budget operations that officially don't exist, funded with billions of dollars that are never accounted for. Think of it as the dark successor to infamous programs like MK Ultra, but instead of crude psychological manipulation with drugs, this is precise digital control at the speed of thought. The goal is no longer to influence the mind, but to hijack it completely. What would this technology truly be capable of? The tactical advantages are as staggering as they are horrifying. Imagine a squad that feels no fear, no hesitation, no remorse. An operator could suppress the natural human startle response, allowing a soldier to remain perfectly steady and aim true even as explosions rock the ground around them. They could push soldiers past their normal physical limits, ignoring pain and fatigue signals that their own brains would normally scream at them. Communication would be instantaneous and undetectable, a silent telepathic network. A strategy could be conceived and executed by the entire squad in the same millisecond. It would be the creation of the perfect soldier, an unflinching, unerring weapon. But the cost is the humanity of the individual. They would become passengers in their own bodies, prisoners in their own skulls, forced to watch as their hands carry out actions dictated by another. This is the core of why it's considered a forbidden technology. It doesn't just kill the enemy, it fundamentally erases the identity of the user. It turns a human being into a piece of equipment, a sophisticated biological drone. The existence of such a weapon would rewrite every rule of engagement and every tenet of international law. How do you define a war crime when the person who pulled the trigger had no choice in the matter? Who is responsible? The soldier or the distant Phantom Coach pulling the strings? These are the questions that keep military ethicists awake at night, and why this concept remains buried under layers of secrecy.
Block 2. How it works: brain-computer interfaces and the hive mind. So the inevitable, chilling question arises: How could a technology as audacious as the Phantom Coach even be possible? Is this pure science fiction, or are there seeds of this terrifying concept in real-world science? The answer, unsettlingly, lies in the rapidly advancing field of neuroscience and, specifically, in brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. You've likely seen early versions of this technology already. Scientists have enabled paralyzed individuals to control robotic arms with their thoughts, or even type messages on a screen just by thinking about the words. These are incredible, life-changing achievements. But, like any powerful technology, they have a dual use. To create the Phantom Coach, these benign, non-invasive BCIs would need to be taken to an invasive, military-grade extreme. We're not talking about a cap with electrodes on it. We're talking about sophisticated, surgically implanted neuromeshes or neurodust that integrate directly with the soldier's brain tissue. These implants wouldn't just read neurosignals. They would have to be bidirectional, capable of both reading the brain's intent and, crucially, writing new commands directly into the motor cortex and other key regions. This network of advanced BCIs would then be linked together, likely through a secure, high-bandwidth wireless protocol, forming what can only be described as a technological hive mind. At the center of this network sits the commander, the coach. This individual would likely be connected to an even more advanced BCI, augmented by a powerful AI coprocessor. A single human brain simply couldn't manage the torrent of sensory data from a dozen soldiers at once. Their sight, their hearing, their proprioception, while simultaneously issuing precise motor commands to each of them. The AI would act as a translator and a filter, interpreting the coach's high-level strategic goals and breaking them down into millions of synchronized, low-level neural commands for the squad. In this model, the individual consciousness of each soldier is suppressed, their executive functions overridden by the central command signal. They are no longer individuals. They are nodes in a distributed biological supercomputer controlled by a single operator. The psychological toll on the controlled is almost impossible to comprehend. Imagine being consciously aware but unable to control your own limbs. You watch your own hands raise a weapon and fire, but the decision wasn't yours. This isn't just a loss of control, it's a fundamental violation of the self, a phenomenon that could be described as ego dissolution or a forced waking out-of-body experience. The resulting psychological trauma would make conventional PTSD look mild in comparison. What happens when the connection is severed? How does a person reintegrate their sense of self after it has been so completely subjugated? The potential for permanent psychological fragmentation, identity disorders, and complete mental collapse is immense. This is the ultimate reason why, despite its terrifying potential for battlefield dominance, the Phantom Coach would be universally considered forbidden. It weaponizes the human soul. The immense challenge, of course, is proving its existence. A program this secret would leave no paper trail. The technology would be developed in the deepest of black sites, and the soldiers involved would be a new class of ghost operative, their true nature hidden from everyone. The line between science fiction and future reality is blurring faster than we think, and the Phantom Coach represents a destination from which there may be no return. A future where the ultimate weapon is not a bomb, but the complete and total control of the human will. This raises a profound question not just about the future of warfare, but about what it means to be human. Is absolute control worth the price of our own autonomy? What do you think about the Phantom Coach? Share your theories in the comments below. Subscribe for more deep dives, and we'll see you in the next one.